So, have you seen that one meme of the cat going, happy, happy, happy? This is her grown up. Do you feel old? Welcome to Purrley, folks, from the Ghost with Knife, and welcome back to more Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. And today, as you can see, we are finally tackling one of the more meta XYZ decks, Purrley's. So before we go any further, my roommate is sick. If you do hear any coughing or anything in the background, that is them. I apologize. There's nothing I can do about it. I just hope they recover from their illness as soon as possible. Anyways, without further ado, let's go ahead and explain exactly what Purrleys are and what they do. Purrleys are actually these two cats, the star of the show, Purrley herself, and her best friend, Purrley. And the deck is a really cool XYZ deck that uses these level 1 monsters and quick play spells to create powerful XYZ monsters with all sorts of effects. Like Beauty has a negate, Happiness can send spells and traps back to the deck and go ahead and fetch more Purrleys and get rid of stats. Plump is just really hard to kill and also just has a great way of banishing stuff. Noir can flick stuff back into their hand. Happiness makes for a great finisher if they had more delicious memories, but you know, they don't. And Purrley Noir is incredibly hard to deal with and really great control piece. So Purrley's is a really well-known deck because it's just so hard to deal with. It's very durable and it's great at grinding your opponents out of the game. And I wish I could say more about it, but the deck's actually kind of hard to explain and just better to see in action so you understand exactly what each of the cards does and how powerful the deck actually is. Because on paper, it looks kind of mediocre, but in practice, this deck is phenomenal. Now, I will say before we get into those games, I've been trying to record this deck on 3 different occasions. This is the 3rd session that I've tried to get some videos in with this deck. For some reason, the other 2 sessions had terrible audio issues, and I swear if this one does too, I'm gonna lose my mind. But as I've tried to record Purrleys, I've had very few other games that I actually could salvage out of those. And I had older deck lists when they didn't nerf Purrleys, because, you know, instead of dealing with Snake Eye Fire King, the best deck in the meta, or just, you know, banning Snake Eyes, like, they should be banned, we want to kick the tier 2 deck Purrleys down another notch, because why not in the eyes of Konami? Don't mind me, I'm just salty because I like this cat deck and it got nerfed for no reason in my opinion. Anyways, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into those games so you can see what Purrleys can do and just why I like them so much. Alright, so our opponent has chosen to go first here in our little replay. Our opening hand is kind of weird. We have a memory, which is essentially a 1-card starter for us because we just need 1 so we can go ahead and grab our other smaller cat, a Gamma, and a Nibiru. In my opinion, it's pretty good. Oh, it's Trap Tricks. I know this deck very well, and I think we're about to see a showcase of how brutal Purrleys can be in any grind matchup, including one of the better grind decks. So we're going to go ahead and Gamma their Pudica so they cannot get their Garden. I do not want my opponent to get the ball rolling in any way, shape, or form, so you know what? Get that nonsense out of here, please. We're going to go ahead and set 2 and pass, which is terrifying, because Trap Tricks with traps can really do some damage. We go ahead and draw an Imperm, which is pretty nice. We're going to go ahead and use the Pretty Memory, discarding the Imperm? Now, I'm not going to lie. I don't know why I discarded Imperm and not Shirley. I think me and Nell were discussing. I think this was a practice game for me and Nell, and they were like, yeah, just throw away Imperm. Who cares? And I was like, okay. So, yeah. Discarding Imperm because we're a Chad like that. Gonna go ahead and use Purrley, and when Purrley is summoned, or normal or special summoned, you can add any Purrley card from your deck except a quick play spell, so you can't use Purrley to grab a memory straight from the deck. Instead, we can grab My Friend Purrley, which is one of the best cards in the deck, hence why it's a UR. You can pay 500, and you reveal 3 different memories from your deck, and you kind of make your opponent choose one at random and hope you get the right one. And in our instance, we choose 2 of the sleepy memories, which we're going to discuss in a minute, and 1 delicious memory, and we did luck out. And we did get our delicious memory, which is one of our better cards for starting our plays. Basically, it makes it so where a monster on the board cannot be destroyed by battle until the end of the next turn, so this Purrley here is not going to be able to be destroyed. But more importantly, we're going to put this card in the graveyard, and we're going to use the Delicious Memory secondary effect, which is a cool thing about Purrleys. Every single memory has a secondary effect where you can discard a card as you use the quick play spell, and if you do, you get either one of your cats on board, which is going to be Purrley or Purrley, which is why all the memories are also starters. Each of the memories also has a special effect underneath that only activates on certain XYZ monsters, but we'll get into that in a moment. Purrley allows us to activate the top 3 and try to grab any of our Purrley cards. Oh, it's a Purrley spell or trap to our hands. And we're going to be obviously taking the Happy Memory, which is the perfect card for us to grab. We're going to go ahead and reveal the Purrley Happy Memory. We're going to use Purrley's other effect to do our unique XYZ summoning mechanic. So, the white cat, Purrley, has a special effect where it can look at any memory in your hand and use that as XYZ material. So you can summon any of the XYZ monsters from the deck that I believe the memory mentions. It's a bit complicated, which basically you take a memory from your hand and you get one of the Purrleys from your extra deck. And Purrley, instead of looking at the hand, it looks at the graveyard. So we're going to go ahead and use Purrley with the Delicious Memory to go ahead and summon Plump, which is an incredibly powerful card. In this instance, it doesn't do too much. I'm going to go ahead and try to swing it with the Purrley Happiness to go ahead and try to get another Purrley going. My opponent is going to reveal Trap Hole of Spikes. Now, to say I saw this coming would be a lie. I definitely didn't. But yeah, I'm going to lose my big XYZ monster, take 1,000. But it's okay, because my friend Purrley has a special effect that whenever one of our XYZ monsters is destroyed, our Purrley XYZ monsters, we can take the Purrley quick play spells with 3 different names from our graveyard and put them back in our hand, giving us, again, that durability, allowing this deck to just keep persisting. Because we have 2 brand new memories, we're going to go ahead and use both of them. We're not going to use them to get more Purrleys. I think one of them we're going to use. But more importantly, for the smaller Purrley cards, whenever you use a quick play spell, you can immediately attach that card on the field as material, and then they have a secondary effect. In Plump's case, it allows Plump to banish monsters until the end phase, which kind of lets you clear the board. So you still get the effects of the memory. You can just use them as materials, so instead of losing them in the graveyard, you just attach them and make bigger and bigger cats. And one of them we're going to go ahead and use to grab Purrley back from the deck. We're going to go ahead and hit the Stray Purrley Street, which is one of the best cards we can hit. We're going to go ahead and get in for 100 because it's funny. And you're going to go ahead and activate the Stray Purrley Street, which gives us a little bit of protection. Our Purrley monsters can't be targeted with card effects the turn they are special summoned, which is kind of nice. It's only 1 turn though. But more importantly, if a Purrley XYZ monster leaves we control leaves the field, we can special summon a Purrley from the graveyard or deck. And during the end phase, another thing is going to happen. So we're going to go ahead and use one of our memories effects. I believe it's the Pretty Memory. Yeah. Basically, once the memories are underneath your big Purrley cats, you can use their secondary effects to help control the board on your turn. Most of the time, Pretty Memory allows us to take a card from our field to the graveyard and then attach one of our opponent's cards underneath our XYZ monster as material, making them bigger and bigger, and it's just a really great way. Again, this is a really powerful grind deck. We're going to go ahead and add 2 more of our spells and traps from our graveyard to Plump because we want Plump at 7 materials. Because from here, we're going to summon essentially the most powerful Purrley, Purrley Noir. So let's go ahead and go over all of this card's effects. We have the Happy Memory, which allows it to attack a number of times for each Happy Memory attached to it, +1. We have the, well, it allows it to attack monsters a number of times in the battle phase, based on the number of Happy Memories. We have Pretty Memory, which allows us to, as you saw, get rid of one of our cards, that way we can suck up one of our opponent's cards. Delicious Memory, which gives 300 attack and defense for each material, which is 8 materials, which gives us a massive boost. The Purrley and 3 cards that don't really matter, we're just using them for material. And now the Street's other effect happens at the end of every single at every single end phase. We can target any Purrley XYZ monster and attach a Purrley quick play spell from the deck or graveyard to that monster as material. So now we have yet another memory and we have another effect. In this instance, during our opponent's standby phase, this lets us draw a card, which again gives it that durability, gives you the ability to just persist and grind out your opponent. Because every time our opponent after our opponent's draw phase, we draw a card, giving us even more gas. Our opponent is going to try to play a Myrmelio here. I'm like, no. We're going to go ahead and get rid of some of our traps and flick that Myrmelio back to the bottom of the deck, because Purrley Noir's effect is that it can't be affected by your opponent's cards while it has 5 or more materials. Having 7 just makes it unaffected. And we can detach 2 materials from this card, target our a card our opponent controls, or in their graveyard, just put them on the bottom of the deck. It's a really powerful way to deny recursion effects and also just deny the ability to link summon, which is exactly what we're going to do with Noir here. We're going to go ahead and get rid of some more materials. We're going to just flick Holtea back into their deck. My bad, we flick Pudica back in. Now we're going to flick Holtea. And from there, we're going to go ahead and get another memory. We're going to get another sleepy memory. So when our opponent's standby phase, this monster is going to let us draw 2 cards off of our opponent. We do draw into the infinite permanence. We're going to try to use the Mi Amiga, Purrley. We're going to grab another pretty memory off of our 3 revealed, which doesn't really matter in this situation. We're going to use Sleepy to grab Purrley, which is going to grab us Yeep. And then from here, we're going to use the pretty memory to turn Purrley into Beauty. And Beauty's base effect is that as long as it is pretty memory equipped, it has the quick effect of it can just negate any monster effect. Again, like I said, this deck is really good at grinding your opponent's dust. These cats are not only really pretty and cute, they have incredibly powerful effects, which is why this deck just has stuck around in the metagame as long as it has. It creates really powerful XYZ monsters that can absolutely dominate the board and has plenty of space in the main deck for interaction outside of it. Our 3 sleeping memories are going to proc, allowing you to draw 3 cards, including 2 Mi Amiga Purrleys and a Purrley pretty memory. Our opponent's going to try to Mantis. We're going to go ahead and use Beauty to just negate that. You do not need that effect. They are going to link off into Sarah, trying to get the ball rolling, but yet again, I'm just going to go, no, we're not going to have that. You do not get that effect. Flick that card back into your extra deck, please. And from there, we're going to go ahead and flick their trap back into their deck, and then we're going to use Yeep. So this play allows us to completely clear our opponent's board so they can't do anything, and we're going to go ahead and trade our powered down Purrley Noir for a Happiness, which is going to further get us in this game. We're going to further increase the advantage we have our opponent, increase the gap between us and our opponent and what they can do. Because we currently have a negate, we have another negate, we have a grave negate, we just have so much. And after attacking, on the next standby phase, we're going to go into Downward Magician, because we can do that, because we do have a rank 2 card. And then Downward Magician is going to give us a 4 material Zeus, oh my bad, a 5 material Zeus. We're going to go ahead and attach the Sleepy Memory back to Beauty so we can keep drawing cards, and this is why Purrleys are so powerful. They just have the ability to just stick around and keep going and absolutely manhandle your opponent out of the game. And Zeus is just going to go ahead and we're going to just use Zeus's ability to clear the board because why not? It's funny. We're going to attack with Zeus and end this game, and that is the raw power of Purrleys. Absolutely outmaneuvering and outcontrolling the powerful control deck in Trap Tricks. Why was that so hard to say? Getting into our next game here, we've got 2 Mi Amigas, an Imperm, and an Ash Blossom, which is pretty good for going second. My opponent is going to mysteriously not do anything. Whatever, who cares? We're going to set the Happy Memory. I believe this was a play mistake at the time. I thought I could activate it after setting it because I forgot how quick play spells and spells work, but who cares? Whatever. We're going to play Mi Amiga. Go ahead and grab Pretty and Hungry. Can't remember what the Hungry one's called. Go ahead and activate the Pretty. They're going to Axios. We're going to Ash Blossom that. Eat zombie feet, you stupid roach. Go ahead and grab our Pretty, which is going to give us Purrley, which essentially is going to give us Beauty. We're going to go ahead and grab the Stray Street, and now we are essentially just set up. We're going to use the Pretty from the graveyard to give us another negate, as well as the Impermanent Hand to give us another negate. So we have 2 negates, and we have a very durable board. In our opponent's turn, we're going to go ahead and draw some cards. I forgot this was turn 2 and that we could attack, so I was getting ready to go to my end phase, but I was like, no, this is turn 2. I can just get in for some free damage, so why not do that? So they draw a card, go to their standby phase. We draw a card. It is yet another Mi Amiga. It's whatever. My opponent is going to try and destroy all my spells and traps. So I'm going to go ahead and use the Happy Memory, and this is where Happy Memory gets some value here. I'm going to use Happy Memory to protect the Stray Purrley Street, which is going to give us a Purrley, which is going to grab us the Stray Purrley Street on backup, just in case. My opponent is then going to do nothing. Okay. I'm confused. Mi amiga. We're gonna reveal Happy Memory and 2 Purrleys just to try to get some more nonsense going. We're gonna use Happy Memory to sub out the Purrley. Try to grab another memory. And you know what? I just want it more than you. I'm gonna get another Happy Memory off the top. And my opponent's gonna see that and they're just gonna scoop it up. So who knows what they were playing. But maybe they should have actually tried to play the card game. They could have been bricked, I don't know. I should stop being so cocky. But whatever, Purrleys win, I'm happy. Alright, let's go ahead and get right on into this game. We draw a pretty sick Purrley hand. That Effect Veiler called by is pretty nice. Going second though isn't that great. My opponent is going to play Double Summon. Haven't seen that card forever. They're going to summon Emperor Sam. What on earth could my... Oh. Gladiator Beast. Sadly, I think my opponent is on some sort of masochist deck, so this isn't going to go swimmingly for them, but hey, I can show off what Purrleys do. I don't mind. We're going to go ahead and draw and get a driver, which sucks, but you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and discard the driver to Pretty. We're going to get Purrley, which grabs us Mi Amiga. You know how this combo works, Mi Amiga. Going to go ahead and activate the top 3. We're going to do Happy, Happy, Hungry. Oh, it's delicious, my bad. Go ahead and play the Purrley from hand. We're going to want to activate 3 more cards from the deck. Why not? We're going to try to hit a memory. We did not. It's okay. We've already got 2 memories we can use in hand. We're going to use the Happy Memory alongside the Purrley on the board to make an E-Purrley Happiness, because why not? You're going to go ahead and attach that bad boy. We're going to play the Pretty Memory. We're going to attach it just to Happiness, just to make the Happiness a little bit bigger. Give our opponent some life points. We're going to send one of our Purrleys or Purrleys to attach to Happiness. I could have just let it live and then had the other things attack, but I was like, whatever. We're going to go ahead and just get the Purrley Beauty out. This might have been a mistake, but again, I'm playing Masochist, so I'm not sweating. I'm playing against Masochist, so I'm not sweating too much. We're going to negate Emperor Sam's effect just in case. You never know what Masochist decks can do. We're going to go ahead and draw into our Street, which is going to completely set us up with 2 XYZ Purrleys and Street and Friend. And from here, I decide, you know what? I'm going to go into Zeus. I've got no reason not to. I don't know what my opponent's up to, but I want to negate and I want to board wipe in case things go wrong. It's really hard for most Masochist decks to come back from board wipe, so whatever. We're going to go and use the Street to attach a Sleepy Memory and draw more cards. Yeehaw, Purrleys are really cool. I'm not going to lie, I really like this deck. I really like what this deck can do. I'm sorry, is that Sombyra the Dark? Can't attack directly. If it destroys a monster by battle, it loses 200 attack. I haven't seen that card in forever. I forgot this card existed. We're going to use both our Mi Amiga and our Street to go ahead and just make the gap between me and my opponent's deck even farther. Grab Sleepy and Pretty. Grab Purrley, which allows us to get another memory, which is... Get to see Yeet, my bad. And here on turn 4, we are trying to go for game. We draw into a Gamma, which is the ultimate slap to my face, because I already got rid of driver. Who cares, though? Go ahead and get a Happy Memory. Use the Happy Memory. Protect our Street. Summon Purrley. Try to activate some more cards. Get nothing. Who cares? It's fine. We're going to use the Happy in the Grave to make Happiness yet again. Attach that to that. Use the Sleepy Memory. I'm gonna go ahead and try to attach it to the Happiness. Doing Purrley stuff. Put that card back to your hand, please. We're gonna use the Pretty Memory from hand to make Beauty. And from here, there's just not much my opponent can do. We put Zeus in attack mode. We attack with Happiness. Grabbing a Delicious Memory, which is incredibly powerful in this position. I probably could have played it and attached it to a Beauty to get some more damage, but it's fine. Who cares? We go ahead and use Delicious Memory, put it underneath Happiness. Just to make Happiness a little bit bigger, we're going to use Yeep, and we're going to transform. Actually, my bad. We're going to put some cards back into our deck. We're going to use Street, attach another card underneath Happiness, and just, again, further the gap between what me and my opponent can do. We're going to draw a card. My opponent is going to Ash Blossom this, which is funny, because I can still draw a card anyways. But it's funny, just mostly because I have Called by the Grave. I'm like, no, I am drawing 2 cards, actually. I want to put as much distance between you winning and me winning as possible. I want to have a massive advantage in this. I kind of feel bad for my opponent pairing up against Purrley's, but not much you can do. I'm going to go ahead and negate Leonidas' effect, because if it battles a non-normal monster, it gains attack, which I thought they were going to use to try and kill my beauty, so I'm like, whatever. I'm going to go ahead and negate it now, so if they attack into it, it does nothing. They attack anyways, which I find hilarious. From here, we're going to go ahead and normal summon Ash, use the Pretty Memory to get rid of their back row, just to protect myself even further. Resummon the Purrley Happiness, get that animation off one more time, and then go in with Beauty, just for the spite of it. We're going to attack with Happiness, and Happiness's effect is going to finish our opponent off. So here we are into our next game here with a kind of awkward Purrley hand. We're going first this time. We did draw into Miamiga, and of course our opponent has the stupid Roach. God, I hate this bug. Anyways, we're going to try to change Sleeping Memory so we can at least deny them one of their card draws, and they're just, you know, going to have everything. Because why wouldn't they have everything? They're going to Ash Blossom our Sleepy, denying our ability to summon from our deck, which is fine. We have 2 Purrlilies in hand, but whatever. We don't get the special summon. We're going to draw at least 1 card as soon as we XIZ summon. We're going to go ahead and grab the Street. We're going to use my friend Purrley to go ahead and try to get some sort of memory here. We're going to grab Delicious, Pretty, because I want to get either Beauty or Plump. I do get the Delicious, which isn't great. It's one of the better cards we can grab in the deck, so I'm not too worried about it. We're going to go ahead and just summon the Noir because it allows us to draw a card on our opponent's turn. They're going to draw a card with Maxi. We're going to attach another Sleepy to this so we can have 2 card draws during their standby phase to allow us to try to get some of the resources to outgrind our opponent. They're going to Ash Blossom the first card draw. Thankfully, these Sleepy effects happen one after the other. Well, I should say they're separate instances, so we can at least get 1 card draw out of this. Our opponent is going to play Magician's Salvation. That's right, folks. It's Purrley's versus Dark Magician. They're going to do some nonsense, put a Dark Magician in the graveyard. They're going to Soul Servant to grab Dark Magic Circle. They're going to essentially draw the circle and summon their Dark Magician. Why wouldn't they? They're going to go ahead and do just that, grabbing their circle. They can now play the circle, which I do think they did that in the wrong order, but whatever, they're going to use circle to grab another circle. They're going to go ahead and use Magic Life's Fusion with Dark Magician and the Magician's Soul's Engrave to summon the Dark Magicians, so they can have a little bit of card draw themselves. I'm going to go ahead and Effect Veiler this. I didn't know what my opponent planned on doing. I didn't know if they were about to play more spells and traps, so I'm like, I don't want you drawing cards now. I'm going to go ahead and Effect Veiler this. That's the best thing I can do. There's not that many great targets in Dark Magician to Effect Veiler, so why not? So both our Street and our Miamiga is going to activate. Miamiga is going to allow us to put back Sleeping Memory, and then the Street's going to allow us to grab Purrley, which is going to get us the Yeep, because I don't really need another Street or a Miamiga, so in this instance I want flexibility. We're going to grab another memory. We're going to go ahead and try to use our My Friend Purrley to get something going. My opponent is going to activate Eternal Soul, which does hurt us a little bit. They're going to go ahead and grab Dark Magic Attack. So here I am going to grab 3 Happies because I want to guarantee I grab a Happy. The main reason is that Happiness itself has an effect when you use its Memory Absorption, is what we're going to call it. Not that one. This one. A Purrley Happiness, up to thrice per turn. When you activate a Purrley Quick Play spell, you can attach that card on the field to this card as material, then return 1 spell or trap your opponent controls to the hand. Basically, what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of the Eternal Soul and the Dark Magical Circle in case my opponent does some shenanigans. We're going to go ahead and use the Happy Memory, put that in the graveyard, grab Purrley from the deck. We're going to protect our straight Purrley Street. We're going to activate some cards. This doesn't really matter. I'm going to go ahead and grab the Happy because it's just more memories. Why not? We're going to use the Happy from hand, giving us a little bit more flexibility yet again, to summon Purrley Happiness. It's important that we do this first for order of operations. Now what we're going to do is we're going to activate Sleeping Memory. We're going to use Purrley Happiness to put the Sleeping Memory onto Happiness and bounce back the Eternal Soul, which will destroy the Dark Magicians. Get that nonsense out of here, please. Bye-bye. In response to this, so they don't chain Eternal Soul in case they try to, I'm going to go ahead and use my Purrley Memory. We're going to further chain with Happiness. We're going to use Delicious Memory, further chain with Happiness, and the idea here is we're just going to get rid of all their spells and traps. They're going to lose their monster with Eternal Soul, so they get absolutely no shenanigans, and I have a gigantic Happiness to try and eat my opponent's Dark Magicians and everything else. So our opponent is going to go ahead and try to summon another Dark Magician here, because the Dark Magicians died. So it's really good that we went ahead and got rid of that circle and that whole entire chain experience, whatever. We're going to turn regular Happy into Purrley Happiness, which does have the animation, and you don't see it brought up that often, but I do rather like this card. And because we do have a Happy Memory, Purrley Happiness can attack twice. We're going to go ahead and get Beauty because I want a negate on top of all this. We're going to try to do as much damage as possible. Happiness is going to attack, and whenever Purrley Happiness has attacks at any... Whenever Purrley Happiness declares an attack and it has 5 materials, it automatically does 1,500 points of damage. So your opponent has a bunch of monsters. You can easily destroy their life points with your multiple attacks with Happiness and the Happy Memory, and also just do a bunch of damage from hurting their monsters. We're going to use Beauty's effect to negate the Dark Magician's ability, because why not? They've got 300 life points. We're going to go ahead and summon the Purrley, grabbing the Amiga. We're going to transform Beauty, which we already used as negate, into Downward Magician, so we can yet again go into Zeus. Boom shakalaka. Big Daddy Zeus is here to take off his pants. I'm going to go ahead and put down the Yeep just in case, and we're going to go ahead and use the Street to give us yet another Sleepy Memory. So on our opponent's turn, we're going, or during their standby phase, we're going to draw 2. They're going to go ahead and Soul Servant, just to try to get some resources, to try to keep up against our Purrley Assault here. What they do really doesn't matter. Drawing an Ash is nice. It does give us a little bit more, a few more control options. I'm going to go ahead and Purrley Yeep. At this point in time, I believe I misread this card, and I didn't really know what I was doing. I thought I could go into the Purrley Noir. No, I thought I could go into Noir with this, but I couldn't. So I'm like, great. I wanted to go into the Purrley Noir so we can start flicking cards back to their deck, but I can't do that. So instead, we go for a Beauty, give myself a negate, and a Zeus, why not? My opponent is going to Dark Magic Circle, grab back the Eternal Soul, put down their Magician's Salvation yet again. They're going to go ahead and play the Magician's Rod. I'm going to use the already drawn Ash Blossom to just stop them from drawing more cards and generating more advantage. No thank you. My opponent is going to Magician's Soul, summoning a Dark Magician yet again, and they're going to go ahead and use the Dark Magical Circle effect to target Zeus. I don't know if they were trying to, like, bait me into using Zeus to get rid of the board, but I'm like, you know what? It's fine. Zeus dying is not the worst thing here. I probably should have used Zeus's effect earlier, but whatever, it's fine. We'll lose the Zeus. Nothing I can do in that situation. My opponent is going to Dark Magic attack all of our spells and traps, getting rid of the Amiga, but allowing us to maintain our straight Purrley Street. They are going to Unicorn now. And I don't really know why they tried to Unicorn. They had a bunch of monsters they could have used to try and potentially take back Beauty, but we're just going to go ahead and use Beauty's effect to negate the Unicorn. I don't want to lose my Street. I don't want them to, like... I don't know why they didn't target Beauty. It doesn't matter. We would have negated it anyways. We're going to get yet another memory on top of Beauty. We're going to go ahead and draw an Infinite Impermanence, which isn't that great. But I'm going to turn Beauty into Noir. And from this position, they're going to try to Eternal Soul. I'm going to go ahead and use Purrley Noir's effect to bounce back the Dark Magic Circle so they can't get the Banish off. Which doesn't matter. It's unaffected anyways. I just don't want them having that Dark Magic Circle to banish my Street, so they're going to go ahead and summon both DMG and Dark Magician. They're going to do some other nonsense. I'm going to go ahead and just start flicking stuff back to their deck. I'm flicking the Eternal Soul just to get rid of all their monsters. But as you can see, for some reason, they don't lose all their monsters. They do stick around. I don't know what the interaction is there. Who cares? Noir is going to attack into the Unicorn, and we are going to attack for game. You can try to have as many resources as you want, Dark Magician. But there's no magic more powerful than the power of cat magic. Oh, look at that kitty playing with that ball. How happy is the kitty? You know who else is happy? I am. Even though they tried to brutally murder the Purrley deck for no reason, because this deck did nothing wrong, this deck still is a lot of fun to play, and I have a blast playing it every time I do. I may not have the best understanding of how Purrleys work, but I do enjoy playing them, and I will be revisiting the cute little cats in the future. For now, though, I believe this is a pretty good showcase of what Purrleys can do, and why, in my opinion, you should give them a try. So, thank you for tuning in, folks. I've been the Ghost with Knife. I hope you enjoyed these games. Now do me a big old favor and get the hell out of here.